Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel, Faith by Grace.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Nadia,
I'm Brittany.
and we are coming back to you with content that we hope you love.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content so that other people out there can see as well.
As we're going to continue from where we were, and we were talking about middle school.
Yes, middle school.
And the conflicts and how I reacted to my daughter, who was not my daughter at the time. I thought she was a little monster, but...
And how I felt. I was telling Mom, the other day I was at work, the Holy Spirit dropped it on me to speak about how I really felt at the time, because, so many years just go by and you forget, sometimes you forget what you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized at that time, it was... I don't even know. I felt like the world was against me. Talk about a dark cloud. I felt like a dark cloud was just following me at the time. I felt low. I felt drained. I hated going home. I felt I had no peace anywhere. Even though I felt like I liked school, or school was my safe haven, it still wasn't enough. Nothing was ever enough. And I at the time, I didn't know why. I think it's because I didn't know who I was. I know now, though, it's spiritual, but I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint it. I just wish I could explain it to you, because even now it's so hard to explain how dark of a time. That's how dark it was for me, that I couldn't. And I feel like a lot of kids out there right now are going through the same thing, and they don't know why. They may be feeling the same way. So I just feel like that's something to, talk about.
Well, yeah, and even though you were feeling that way, I couldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I remember middle school. It was very different from what middle school is now, I guess. Yeah. It's different, but then it's all in on the same. Sometimes I feel like in the world we encounter the same kind of personalities with different people. No matter race, religion, whatever, you ever meet someone, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that person acts just like such and such. Yeah. So, I'm not going to say it was completely different, because I faced some stuff too, but I don't remember feeling that way when I went to middle school. I think I liked middle school better than high school when I was growing up. And so I really couldn't relate to you. Yeah. To me, you had just left 5th grade, this sweet little girl. 6th grade in middle school. I think 6th grade, you're okay. Mm-hmm. It was more 7th, okay. 7th to 8th
grade. Oh my goodness.
7th grade, I just started not recognizing you, and then you started doing things that I was totally that's so inappropriate. I didn't raise this girl to be like this. And there were things and incidents that I was just being a parent. Because I didn't understand. I'm a provider. I provided for you. I gave you love. I didn't see what it was that was so bad, and I couldn't understand you. I felt so divided from you. I didn't understand. I tried. At least I think I tried, and my reaction was what's the attitude? To me, you walked around with this attitude. So you're saying that you were in this dark place and you kind of didn't know yourself. To me, it was coming off like an attitude. No matter what I did, it wasn't. That's how I felt. I'm not saying
that's how you perceived it.
That's how I perceived it. No matter what I did, I don't know this girl. That's why. That's the time when I asked you, who are you? Who exactly are you? Because you weren't the person that my little girl anymore. Now, as I've matured too, I've learned, believe it or not. It doesn't matter how old you are, you learn. Each day I learn, and I'm learning and understanding a lot more about myself. And therefore, when you understand yourself and you love yourself, and you could kind of understand, and I'm observing it, I'm like, man, I just wasn't really paying attention to certain things. I didn't see your cry because you're so close to home, because your friends would come to me. I would be having powwows with your friends and talking and giving advice, and you would just be quiet. So I thought everything was good with you.
But they always say, oh my gosh, your mom is so nice. And girl, you don't know my mom. That's right. How I felt. You don't know my mom, or I felt like, you don't know my mom, I can't talk to my mom. You guys can talk to my mom because that's not your mom. Because my friends couldn't talk to their moms. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and then so, but I thought I was a super cool mom that you could talk to me. I thought,
Yeah, you did.
yeah, I did, because I'm like, well, if her friends told me, they could talk to me, because
Yeah.
that's how I wanted to be.
Right.
But I guess just being your mom, it was just like you said, that stage you didn't know yourself. You felt like the whole world was against you, and I guess I was your biggest scapegoat.
Yeah, without knowing though, it wasn't
No,
like it was
no,
on
I
purpose,
know.
because I remember you used to say all the time, Brittany, why you got an attitude? Why have you got like you? I know you
Yeah.
better than you know yourself, but you used to tick me off. I used to hate it, but I was like, you don't know me when I know myself. No, you don't. But the thing is, I didn't know myself, and I realized it was so many factors, in the sense of kids at school are mean. Like it's real. Like bullying, trying to fit in, and I didn't even realize sometimes I was getting bullied. You know, so it was just like
Yeah.
I felt like you have to fit in, and especially 8th grade year, like that was hard. Towards the end of the year, I don't even know if I told you, like there were some girls who were my friends, and they like all turned on me for no reason. They just turned on me, and that was another thing in school. All the friends I had just turned on me from middle school right on.
And remember, I told you that, like, but I tried to prepare you for that going
Yeah.
into middle school, into high schools. I said, high school, I said to you, you're gonna have friends, you're gonna think they're your friend, and they will just turn on you. And I told you, like, girls, like, unfortunately, like sometimes it's just like a pettiness within females, like, I don't know, and sometimes girls just don't know their self, or they side with the friends today, they're your friend today,
Yeah.
and then they're another one friend, and
We were
you know,
young.
I've been through that. I've been through that. But the separation where I couldn't understand with you was me growing up. I grew up in New York, so middle school was like, yo, you got beef, you fight after school, and it's done. Not like I'm not gonna sit there. And then maybe it's where I grew up too, because where I grew up, you're not just gonna like cuss me out constantly, or make me feel less than, and I take it like I'm throwing hands, which is not what you do in your generation. I really respect that, because you
I
shouldn't
mean,
be
there
fighting.
was, but I just was never that person.
Yeah, but now I think children nowadays are more like, they'd rather not throw hands in their child. Like you guys are a little
no,
bit
that
different.
is not true.
No,
They want to throw hands. They want to fight. I just was not that kid. I would just deter from fighting. Like that's just.
Man, when
I
I-
didn't have a fighting nature. You know, at home, like every time she would yell, that would be one of my things. Is, oh, you're not saying anything, and then I just learned to just be like,
Yeah.
I was just silent. I never had. To me, I never had much of.
but
a
I think
voice.
that silence still, like, it trickled into your life and maybe
It
your
did.
friendships, because you learned to stay so, and I really wanted you to be
And that
vocal.
was one of the reasons I resented you.
Yeah,
Because I felt like, oh my gosh, I can't say anything. I don't say anything. Like, you're the mother hen, you're the house head. What you say goes. And I just learned to be quiet. And that did trickle into my life. And what I realized too is middle school made me aware of different things. I felt like, dang, I were like, you know, different factors, and like boys, and maybe the household, where's your dad, and this and that.
yeah,
Like that had a big part of my life.
yeah,
My dad not being there the way I would have liked him to played a major part.
yeah.
Because in middle school, in 7th grade, I was looking for love in a boy.
I
Thought I was head over heels in love. 7th to 8th grade, I was going to be with this girl
I
forever.
remember. I sure do.
But didn't know that was a part of
Mhm.
me not knowing myself, my identity, what happened at home, and just, you know, generational curses and this bad, this, you know what I'm saying?
And not the only generation curse, but I also feel like with your dad, you really was a daddy's girl.
I
You
was.
you just really wanted that fairy tale with your
Mhm.
dad, and unfortunately, because of, you know, circumstances, he couldn't be that
Right.
that knight in shining armor for you, and it was hard for you, because then I think you resented it. And sometimes I even went like, I think you kind of blame me, or maybe not consciously, but you know, like,
I did without knowing, but not knowing that you guys did the best you could, you know? Now that I'm older,
right.
I see circumstances, and I now understand life, so I don't place blame on anybody. That was just my circumstances at the time, and I don't think I didn't learn how to navigate it well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to talk well. That's something I work on now, is vocalizing my feelings.
Mhm.
Now I'm better.
Yeah, you are
much
better.
at
You
vocalizing
are
my
better,
feelings.
and in certain senses, I'm still the same mom.
Right.
Like, I
Yeah.
really didn't change. You were
Mhm.
just afraid to speak up. But
Yeah.
it's so funny, because I thought you were my feisty child.
Yeah.
You understand? I thought you had so much sass, because you gave me so much attitude, and
Yeah.
you know, I thought you were that girl.
Mhm.
I honestly did not know that you were so soft-hearted and not. No, I knew you were soft-hearted. I'm not gonna
Right.
say because you're not a cold person at all. I didn't know that you were so like emotionally fragile.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Very.
that
Oh my
until
gosh, you're very
you
emotional.
came back home, and I'm like, who's this girl? Like, this is my daughter. Like, no, this is not Brittany. My Brittany is sassy. She got an attitude, and she'll roll her eyes on the cover, or you'll never disrespect me straight out. But I know when the annoyance looks, and you know, and then there was the side of, oh, you love my brother better than me. Because your brother was the one very young. He got me. He understood that, man, mom talks a lot.
No, but there was certain things Trump could get away with that I couldn't.
Maybe because unfortunately that was a West Indian thing. Like
that was.
Unfortunately, and I do not like that. I didn't even know I was becoming like that. But with him too, then there was also like I was saying to you the other day, I was like, you know what it is, Brittany? And you had me. Like, we would do shopping, we would go out to eat. We were close like that. But Charlie, I tried, but my son didn't want to hang out with me. Charlie was always out, like wanted to play outside or ride his bike, or, you know, I didn't have him on video games, remember? I didn't have him on video games. So Charlie was always that kid that he was out. I didn't know how to bond with him. So I was a little bit more, because he didn't have his dad around, and I know the impact of a guy, a boy, a man, a little boy and his dad. But you had your mom. That's the way I looked at it. Not that it was right, but I just thought he would always tell me, like, Mom, I don't think that's fair. That's not right. And I took it. But I saw you like that. You know, you weren't doing it. It's only after I'm like, she never really... Wait, it's when you came home after the 4.5 years and you went through the abuse that you went through, and I'm looking at you and you're asking me the simplest things, and I'm like, but Brittany, what are you talking about, girl? Why would you ask me that? Like, you know, this is your house too, or and I realized you were so fragile, like you were so emotionally fragile. I did not pick up on it, and I didn't think I was a bad mom. I was involved in your life. I knew every move. I just didn't know you were so emotionally fragile. And then you got into that situation, and I feel like you were totally taken advantage of. And then I saw your fragility as you came home, and then it was like basic. You questioned you second guessed yourself for every single thing.
That's part of me not knowing myself.
The simplest things, and I'm like, no, and I remember one time I just had to be like, no, this is not how I raised you. Like Britt, like, you're strong. I raised you to be strong. Like, why are you doubting yourself? Yeah. And then you would break down and have these moments you start crying, like, I don't know. And then it triggered memories back, and I remember one incident with your ex. And remember the car incident? Yeah, that was in middle school. I'm jumping ahead. That was high school, but I'm just going. And you know, and it was just like, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And you were like, you're what's wrong with me. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know she don't think this is no drama on TV. Like, she better not slam no door. But it was just like, I'm like, really? But I couldn't accept that.
But you know what it was too, just like you said, I realized I had anger, resentment, depression, anxiety. Oh my goodness, you know I suffered from anxiety. Bad. Like, and I know that's a lot of things kids go through now. I realize too, like, the spirit of anxiety is so high in our culture with these children, and it sucks. And I was like, I suffered so bad, shaking, hyperventilating, like I just couldn't think. But you know, as I got older now, I'm like, man, like, God brought me through a lot. Healed, restored through a lot. I didn't even, like you said, I didn't know who I was until I turned 22.
Yeah, just the
22. Actually, how old am I now? 23. Like, I just feel like I figured it out.
If you're figuring it out at 23, honey, I feel like I'm just figuring it out.
You telling me, oh, Brittany, you're so beautiful, this and that. Never thought I was beautiful, never understood.
And I couldn't understand that.
I know, that was just me.
Like, I'm like,
and I resented
all
you.
your friends would tell you, like,
doesn't matter. It
these
didn't
little
matter.
boys they would flock to you, and I hated it. Like, but you were just, and I didn't realize you lacked self-esteem.
I did, and
no matter how much I build you, no matter how much, Brittany, you're beautiful, you're talented. I used to call you a triple threat.
I remember. I think
Right?
that's why too. Like,
And I'm like, you have the brains, you have the beauty, you have the body. You don't. There's nothing you need to improve. You could speak intelligently. You were very smart in school. You had the little cute shape that, because and the reason why I put the body in it, brains, beauty, body, is because I know young girls are like, they wanted to change different parts of them, and I would always put in your head, there's nothing to change, girl. That's how people want to look, like, and no matter how much I told you, it didn't register.
resonate, no.
You couldn't accept it that you were beautiful. So even when you came back after 4.5 years, I'm like, you had on the weight. Oh yeah, you had on the weight from the baby. Oh yeah, she has a baby. I have a grandson, y'all.
yes,
So you had on the baby weight, and then you were just like so insecure, and it's like you're like 30 pounds. You're like 30 pounds overweight. I'm like, girl,
50 pounds, girl.
50, but I'm saying.
But I know.
But I'm like, but Brittany, you still look so good, man. Like,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh no, mom. And I realized that you were just broken, lost little girl. And I'm like, how did this happen?
Right.
Like, especially under my watch, like, because you left home, like it started from home. But how did I not see these things? So, is there any incident in middle school that pinpointed when it happened, or was it just entering middle school? Was it that you didn't feel like you belonged? Was it that you weren't a part of the cool kids? What made you like feel that way while in middle school? Because I think this would be good for a lot of parents to know, because I think a lot of parents really can't relate. Like, they're providing for their children are stylish, and their children have all the latest gadgets, because you try to do that, especially as a mom. And I'm from New York, you got your gear got to be checked, and I'm not talking about name brand, but just you gotta be put together a little bit, because I know from growing up, kids are gonna tease you. You understand? So even though a parent is doing all of that, what should they be looking out for with their children? Because then the children is still probably going through this
The
same
signs,
thing.
like you said, the change. Because I think when I got into middle school, I didn't know it had happened. And it's not like I wasn't a part of the cool kids. Technically, I guess I was. I don't even know. But I was just trying to fit in, wherever I felt like I fit in. I had friends, but, we were all so young, and we were all going through things. It's just the signs, the change in attitude is a major sign when your kids acting like they hate you, they hate the world. Those are the signs to check in
So
for.
how would a parent like myself, how do you approach that? Because most parents are like, I don't know who you are.
But
What's this
that's
attitude?
the problem, because that's where I started to resent you. Is
But
because
then-
I feel like
right.
you approached it wrong.
But then even when I did try to talk to you, you weren't talkative.
But because it was, I don't know. For me, it was like it was a little too late, and at the time, you feel as though you like. How do I talk to her? She says I'm changing. Because at like 13, you were saying I was changing, and I just, I was in middle school, and I was just like, But I guess I didn't know how to. I was like,
12,
how do I go about telling my
7th and
mom
8th
this?
grade.
Because you also want, no matter how hard it is, because kids are doing stuff in middle school that I did stuff in middle school I'm not proud of. That should have been doing in middle school. So it's like, no matter, but that's what I'm saying, no matter how, for parents, it's like, no matter how hard or how bad it is, because your kid's gonna think, because I was thinking, I can't tell my mom this. I could never tell my mom this. My mom find out, she's gonna kill me. And then there was times you found out, and you did kill me.
Well, you knew what, right? Because you knew.
But I knew I was wrong. But I just felt like.
But what made you do those things? Was it peer pressure, or was it trying to find your identity? Like.
Yeah, it was. That's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of both. I mean, it was peer pressure, identity, and feeling like, oh, if I especially with the boys was a big thing for me because of that. Insignificance of a father figure in my life. It was like, oh, I gotta do this because the boy I like, the boy I love. And the thing is, I see a lot of girls even now in those age doing the same thing, and my heart goes out to them because something's missing. Like, that's just all it means.
Yeah,
something's not fulfilled. But to talk to your parents, that's where kids are like, and then
I think the key thing is parents gotta listen, even when it don't make sense. Like, parents have to listen. Like, don't listen like traditional listening.
Wait, sorry to cut you off. Even in the yelling, That's the major thing. When it's a yell, it's a cry. It's not, you're not, don't hear, oh, you just raised your voice at me, you crazy, out of your mind. No, you hear my daughter, my son is broken, he's crying out. My daughter is broken, he's crying out. If you don't want to talk to me, let me go get you therapy. Let me intervene. Let me take steps so that we can, prevent things from happening in the future, or you feel open enough to talk to me. Let's have group therapy. So if I don't understand what you're trying to say, let someone else from another angle say it to me, because I feel like that would have helped us too. But we didn't have things were different then.
Because it's not really that different. I mean, you're not that old. You're only 23.
No, but I feel like therapy wasn't like. I don't think.
Well, I think in the I've always believed in therapy.
Yeah.
But I just never considered you needed therapy until later on things happen. But I never thought. And I believe in therapy. I mean, I majored in psychology, so I'm all for therapy. And so it was just like,
that was the thing with you back then, because you majored in psychology. I hated it. Oh, I know you, but you play this mind game. She probably try to play mind games on me. Oh, she know what I'm thinking.
No, that's not even psychology. Just being a mom. Like, I would always tell you, one of my lines were, what you did, I did before. Because it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, what you think you're doing, like the clothes in the bag, for instance, when you were sneaking your clothes. The Holy Spirit told me the clothes was in the bag. But I knew if I looked in the bag and saw the clothes, I knew you'd be too much like me. And I'm like, oh, heck no, I'm not dealing with myself. And a lot of how I was reacting to you was fear.
Yeah.
And I raised you in this fear. Not only you, but your brother also. I raised you guys in this fear, and it was just like, but I think I was hard on you because you were my girl child, and because of my past and things that happened to me, and that I didn't feel like a safe little girl, I tried to protect you. So I did this. I vice gripped you. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I just had to know. I just had to keep you safe. It wasn't to hurt you. It wasn't to not listen. So when you think I'm not listening, I'm listening, but to me, you ain't making sense. Yeah. You understand? And that's what parents have to know. They may not make sense. Like, you may think, does what they're saying I don't understand. But sometimes you just have, even if you take in what I would do is I would take in what you're saying. If I could go back and change it, but I wouldn't, because this made us even stronger than who we are. But if I was saying, okay, if God said, okay, step back in that situation, how would you handle it now? And in a very intense moment, I would listen. And even if I don't like it, I'll be like, I'll get back to you. I'd walk away from it, think about it, and pray about it. But I was not in where I am with God right now, in myself, and having self-love for myself. It's like, like it says, broken people attract broken people. A broken person cannot be. And, I can say, as a mom that been through stuff in my own life, and I was just trying to be the best parent that I could create in my head. And to me, that was protect my daughter at all costs. Protect her. Let her know she's this gem no matter what. And so I did that. So, because I remember when did I leave your dad? I think you were like in 5th grade.
I was like 8.
8? Was it 8?
If I was 8, I was in 5th or 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah. No, around 9. 9, around 9.
Oh,
yeah, because you hadn't graduated yet. So you were 9. And I remember when I had left your dad, and then we were living in a new place, and I remember you looked at me, we were in the kitchen, and you looked at me, you're like, Mom, what took you so long? And I think that damage.
Oh, that damaged me.
Yeah, like of me, you seeing certain things, or me holding on to this image. Here I am again, a broken young lady, a mom that's trying to be whole. Here I am holding on to this image that I created, or society created for me, and said, this is the perfect family.
Yes.
You have your husband, you have your children, and I was fighting for that. I was like, okay, I have my kids, they're the same dad. I'm fighting for this. I want this, even though everything else said no.
Yeah.
You understand? And it came to start. It damaged you.
Yes, it did.
And then you had this notion of what you wanted a dad to be, and he couldn't be, and even what you wanted a mom to be, and we weren't capable at the time. Not saying I'm bad, or anyone else who's going through this. It's not that. It's just that sometimes, like, I was growing, I had you at 21,
Right.
you know, and I'm trying to figure it out
Mhm.
and be the best mom from what I knew, because my situation wasn't the best. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to be even better than that.
Yeah.
You know.
You tried. I just my advice is just because what hurt me the most during those times is words. The words hurt. I took that, you know, those words. I took that years, and I didn't forgive.
And because
And
I
that
wasn't
part
like
hurt.
beating you down, my words, man, like that's how, unfortunately, I'm so glad that God is real and I have changed, because my words, if you know me and you know me well, the Jamaican come out and the fit, like, listen, my words was it, because I was a young girl when I was being raised, I could not defend myself.
Mhm.
I could not defend myself even with my words. Then as I grew older, I learned to use words to defend myself when I was so tired of being pulled down. My words. So when I felt hurt, that was my defense
Mhm.
to anyone. But you taught me the greatest lesson in my life, because as my words slowly took their seed in you and my words kind of destroyed our relationship, when you left, I had 4.5 years to assess myself, to realize the impact of a world. You know, they say sticks and stones may break my bones,
False.
but words would never hurt. That is a lie every day. Words hurt.
Words hurt. I would rather you
Words
beat
destroy.
me.
No,
Like,
I
all
don't
the
think.
time.
I don't think.
I'm not saying I didn't get no beatings now.
Right.
but I'm
But
just
you
saying,
just rather.
I would have
Yeah,
rather
but you
been
know what?
hit.
And then someone who's gonna get hit would say absolutely
But
not.
that's
I
depends
just
on how
think
they
we
get
need to
hit.
at a balance.
The balance, it is.
The
a
spankings
balance.
is one thing, like a shoe or like beatings. That's one thing, but you know, I ain't beating you down to put you in no hospital or anything. But words are definitely words. Words secrete in your soul and they stay there, and you perseverate on them. And I was that person to plant that seed. That word, man, the words I would use, I wanted to hit your soul with the things I would say.
And it did, and then I realized, but that's
not just you, like
yeah,
just
like in general.
Just in general, that is how that was my defense mechanism. Like, you would come at me, whatever I felt like, I feel like you were being disrespectful, and then I would just say words like okay, well, I'm gonna show you how I feel, and I'm not gonna beat you down, and I'm just gonna say this to you, and whatever it was. But yeah, you taught me that lesson in life. When I didn't have you around and I had to be crying and nights crying and talking to God, where's my daughter? It was just like I had to heal from words that were said to me.
Yeah.
From words that were continually poured into me. Sometimes you become exactly
what you despise
without knowing.
I agree. It's so good.
Yeah. So,
guys, that was great for this episode. Episode 2.
Yes.
Right.
Well, we hope you come back to our channel for episode 3.
We'll get into high school. Already high school.
It's an adventure.
It's all adventurous, but God remains in it.
But we're here.
Yep.
And God is ever present, and He never leaves us or forsake us. So
Amen.
We're here to share our journey.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger, right?
That's right.
So thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share to your friends, your family, people in need who need this. Have a good one.
Bye.